Linear equations lend themselves really well to applications in the real world, and we'll look at a couple of applications of systems of linear equations. Here we have a lab assistant who wants to make 5 liters of a 31.2% acid solution. There are only 2 solutions available in stock. A 40% solution and an 18% solution are available in stock. How many liters of each must be mixed to prepare this solution? So let's think about this. We want a 31.2% solution, we want 5 liters of that, and we have 2 solutions, 40% and 18%. And we had to mix them to get this solution. So we're going to let the variables be the things we're looking for. We're looking at for the liters of 40% solution, we'll let that be x, and the number of liters of 18% solution, we'll let that be y. And right off the bat we know that we only want 5 liters, so x plus y must add up to 5. So we have an equation, x plus y must equal to 5. So there's an equation. We also know that the solution is 31.2%. Now we have 5 liters of that 31.2%, and so the amount of acid is 31.2% of that 5. And if we combine this 40% and 18%, we have to get this. So 40% of x plus the 18% of y must give us 31.2% of 5. So 40% of x is 0.4x plus 18% of y, when they add up, must combine to give us 31.2% of the total solution, which is 5. So here we have a system of 2 equations and 2 unknowns. Make sure you understand how we got the second equation. This is the amount of acid from the x solution, this is the amount of acid from the y solution, and this is the total amount of acid in the resulting solution. So now let's proceed to solve this system of equations. So here we have our system of x plus y equals 5, 0.4x plus 0.18y equals 0.312. I must have said 31.2 before, but it's 0.312. 31.2% is 0.312 times 5, and 0.312 times 5 is actually 1.56. So we can replace that with 1.56. And we're going to solve this system. We're going to use addition. If I multiply this first equation by negative 0.4, we can eliminate the x's. So multiply equation 1 by negative 0.4 to get negative 0.4x, negative 0.4 times y is negative 0.4y, negative 0.4 times 5 is negative 2. So that's equation 1. Then bring down equation 2. So we have 0.4x plus 0.18y equals 1.56. Then we add them together. And if we add them together, we get negative 0.4 plus 0.40. Negative 0.4 plus 0.18 is negative 0.22y equals negative 2 plus 1.56 is negative 0.44. And then we divide both sides by negative 0.22. We can see that goes into 0.44 or negative 0.44 twice. So y is equal to 2. So it looks like we need 2 liters of y, 2 liters of 18%. And we know x plus y must equal to 5. So what should x equal to? Well, if x plus y must equal to 5 and y is 2, x must equal to 3. So we need 3 liters of 40% solution, and we need 2 liters of 18% solution to make our 31.2% solution. Let's look at another example. Here's a problem involving investment. We have a total of $40,000 invested at 2 interest rates, 6% and 8%. The total interest for the first year on that investment was $2,860. How much was invested at each rate? So we want to know how much is invested at each rate, so why don't we let x equal the amount at 6% and y equal the amount we invested at 8%. And we know when we add up those two amounts, x plus y we should get the total amount that we invested, which is $40,000. So x plus y should equal 40,000. So here's one equation. We need two equations. We're trying to get two equations and two unknowns to solve this system. So we know the interest rate generated, the interest amount was $2,860. So we know the interest from x plus the interest from y should give us this interest here. In other words, 6% of x, 0.06 times x, plus 8% of y, 0.08 times y, that's going to give us the total interest. We're looking at simple interest here. So the interest on x plus the interest on y should give us the total interest, $2,860. And so we have two equations in two unknowns, equation 1 and equation 2, and we want to solve this system of equations. So let's go ahead and solve this. To solve this system we can use several methods, but in this particular case let's actually solve each of these equations for y and graph it and find the intersection on the calculator. So let's solve each of these for y and graph them. So we have our two equations. X plus y is 40,000 and 0.06x plus 0.08y is 2,860, and we're going to solve these for y and graph them to find the solution. It's a different approach to solving the system. So if I solve equation 1 for y, we get y equals 40,000 minus x. And if I solve equation 2 for y, we get y equals 2,860 minus 0.06x divided by 0.08. Now we can simplify that further if you want to. If we simplify that further, we get y equals 35,750 minus 0.75x. In other words, divide 2,860 by 0.08 and negative 0.06 by 0.08 to get this here. So that would be our equation 2. So we're going to graph these two equations in our calculator and find the intersection. So we want to graph these two equations under y equals. The first equation is 40,000 minus x, and the second equation is going to be 35750 minus 0.75x, and we want to find where these two intersect. We have to set a window, and our window is going to go from 0. X is the amount of money we have to invest, so it can go from 0 to 40,000, and then we go zoom 0, and what that does, it fits the graph to the x parameters we defined, and we can see the intersection occurs right here. So to find that intersection, we go second trace, and number 5 is intersect. The first curve enter, the second curve enter, enter again, and we see x is 17,000. So it's $17,000 in the 6% account, and we put the difference, which would be 23,000, in the 8% account. And that generates the interest of $2,860.